There is a station that only breathes after midnight, when the signs lose their shine and the platforms turn to quiet islands of light. The air smells clean, like wet stone, and the hour is gentle with mercy. In this softened time, a man arrives with a small overnight bag and the kind of weariness that does not ask for answers. He is called Elias, though the night itself does not demand names. The clock has no numbers, the timetable no destinations. Still, there is a train, and it waits with a long silver patience. Before he steps forward, the world invites a simple ritual, like smoothing a quilt before sleep. The rain hushes, the platform lights dim to honey. Elias pauses, and the breath in his chest becomes steady. 4 slow counts in, 2 small counts held, 6 soft counts out. The narrator, your narrator, watches kindly as the rhythm widens the space around him. In, 2, 3, 4, rest, rest, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The shoulders soften, the bag grows lighter, and even the rain seems to breathe with him. Hush, shh, hush, shh. The train announces itself, not with trumpets, but with a velvet sigh. A conductor in a dark coat and bright eyes lifts a lamp that glows like a warm ember. "Good evening," he says, not loud, not startling. A word that seems to tuck the night a little closer around the edges. He offers a ticket that is not quite blank. There are faint letters that refuse to resolve, like ink that wants to be a place but has not yet chosen. Elias accepts it, and the paper warms in his palm as if held by a small hearth. He boards. The door closes with a soft click, and the train's corridor opens like a hallway in a dream. Lamps ring the ceiling, each one a tiny moon. The carpet is a deep shade of ocean and remembers every careful step. Behind glass, the outside world drifts by in layers. A strip of rain, a slice of field, a dark river washing itself clean beneath a bridge. Somewhere far ahead, the engine clears its throat. And the car gives a little sway that feels like a lullaby that has been humming since childhood. Elias finds a seat by a window. The cushion receives him with the thorough relief of a familiar armchair. Across the aisle, a brass rack holds folded blankets, and on a small table, a porcelain kettle waits on a tray beside white cups thin as shells. The car, it seems, has not been entirely empty. It has simply been expecting. The conductor passes with a nod, a promise to return with hot water. From the ceiling, the lamps throw halos onto the wood-paneled walls, and the halos seem to overlap like friendly thoughts. The air smells faintly of bergamot and pine. Elias rests his bag against his ankle and lets his gaze soften until the world is only shapes and glows. He does not know where the train will end. He has chosen a journey with no final word, no fixed period. Yet, strangely, this does not trouble him. It eases him. The lack of destination feels like setting down a heavy book and letting the story breathe on its own. He thinks of mornings when the city demanded schedules and doors and names. He thinks of how small those mornings feel from inside this moving room. Outside the window, a row of trees lean together like kind neighbors, their branches dusted with pearled rain. In the reflection, he can see himself, but softer, almost transparent, placed among a scatter of lamp halos that could be slow, friendly stars. The conductor returns, wheels a small cart, and sets a cup upon the table. For warmth, he says, and his smile is the sort that understands quiet. Elias wraps his hands around the cup. Heat spreads into his palms, and steam coils upward in soft spirals, like a cat settling at the foot of a bed. The taste is steady and round and familiar. He closes his eyes for a moment and lets the flavor persuade his breath to slow again. In, 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The train keeps time beneath him. Hush, hush, hush. There are other passengers in the car, though they do not insist upon being noticed. A woman in a silver scarf reads by the glow of her lamp. The pages turn with a sound like a moth's wing. Tss, tss. A young man in a wool cap sketches something in a small book, his pencil moving in patient loops. An elderly gentleman sleeps with dignity, his hat tipped down, a notebook balanced like a sleeping bird upon his knee. They are part of the gentle weather of the car, not strangers to fear, perhaps, not strangers to longing, and yet, in this particular hour, they are neighbors on a quiet street where everyone leaves their porch light on. Beyond the glass, the land loosens into open country. The rain thins, then turns to a fine mist that the wind arranges into silk. The tracks lead the train over slow hills and into flatter miles, where ponds reflect the night like dark mirrors cupped in the earth's palm. Occasionally, a farmhouse window appears far away, a square of gold in the cool fields. as if the world is keeping watch over itself. The engine hums another lullaby, deeper this time, mmm, and the wheels answer in even syllables. Time stretches like a cat, drapes itself along the length of the car, and then curls back up with a satisfied sigh. Elias sips again and listens to the small reassuring sounds, the little creak of the table when he shifts his weight, the distant click of a door closing gently, the quiet cough of the heater as it sends a breath of warmth toward his ankles. He thinks of all the times he wanted a sign. He wonders if signs prefer to be felt rather than read. A train that leaves at midnight and writes its destination in dawn, that feels like a sign with good manners. When he opens his eyes, the conductor is near again, checking the lamps with practiced hands. "We'll be making several stops," the conductor murmurs, as one might discuss weather. "But not all of them have names. You may find, Mr. Elias, that the names come to you afterward." The conductor's voice holds the patience of someone who has traveled farther than maps can show, yet is still moved by every new traveler's quiet bravery. He adjusts the wick on a lamp. Its light deepens, softens, and becomes friendlier still. Elias nods, not certain why, only that the agreement feels right. He sets the cup back onto its saucer and feels the little echo in his fingertips. His chest is calm. The seat, the cup, the faint perfume of tea, the rhythm of the rails, all of it threads into something that belongs more to comfort than to meaning. He is content to be a leaf in the current of this hush. If there is something to find, it will come when the night is ready. If there is nothing to find, then the journey itself is a place, roomy, gentle, with blankets folded and waiting. At the far end of the car, a door slides open with a soft breath, and a figure appears, short, round, wrapped in a coat that looks like a small cloud. The figure carries an old violin case tied with a ribbon. Elias looks up, just a little, not startled, only curious the way a window opens to evening. The train, pleased with the moment, lengthens its hum. Somewhere, a clock without numbers marks the time by not marking it at all. The world makes room. The night is underway. The stories, like tea, are steeping. And though dawn has not yet begun its pale rehearsal behind the hills, there is already a lightness where the day will be. The figure with the cloud coat slides into the seat across from Elias and sets the violin case on the table as if placing a sleeping pet. Fingers untie the ribbon, slow, sure, revealing polished wood the color of toasted honey. "Mara," she says, with a nod that is almost a bow, "I play for rooms that have forgotten their music." The latch opens, click, and the air takes on that sweet resin scent, like old pine warmed by the sun. She does not raise the bow. She only touches the strings with her fingertips, humming the note with her breath until the violin seems to remember it. Elias smiles without deciding to. Mara tells him she used to mend instruments, repairing small fractures with patient glue and stories she whispered into the seams. Some cracks, she says, want company more than they want erasing. Once, a train like this carried her to a town where the hospital's night ward asked for music soft enough not to wake the pain. She learned a corridor's lullaby there, 3 notes that curved like a cradle. But there was a missing 4th, she adds, a little landing for the heart. She found it on the return trip, when the wheels sang a gentle answer. Hush, 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 home. I kept it, she says, touching the case, for nights that need it. The car breathes with them. The woman in the silver scarf, who has been reading, closes her book and looks over. Her eyes hold the still light of far harbors. "I'm Rhea," she offers, voice like paper smoothed by hand. "Archivist of unread endings." She sees Elias's question forming and nods. "People send them to me, books they meant to finish and never did. I bind their last chapters into small pamphlets with blank covers and keep them on a shelf until someone is ready." She slides a tiny booklet from her bag and lays it near his cup. On the first page, carefully lettered, "Rest first, then begin." Rhea smiles. "Most endings don't mind waiting," she adds. "They are patient creatures. They know the door opens from both sides." Out the window, the moon loosens from its heavy cloud, and the world below looks rinsed and new. The train slows, then stops with a soft settling of weight. The platform has no sign, only a row of birches leaning close like old friends. A handful of passengers step off, and a handful step on. A man with a wicker basket of oranges, a woman with a folded map that looks hand-sewn. No announcements, no hurry. The door closes, shh, and the car glides forward, smoother even than before. The young man in the wool cap glances up from his sketchbook. He has the open, present face of someone who listens to rain as if it were advice. "Luca," he says, and turns the book so Elias can see. Page after page of delicate bridges, stairways, and small balconies that reach out over courtyards. He grins, sheepish and proud at once. I design crossings for places that think they're separated. Sometimes I send them to city halls with little notes. Sometimes, he shrugs, pleased, they build them. He points to one drawing labeled Dawn Bridge, a narrow span over a foggy creek, lanterns hanging like warm pears. Morning likes company, he says. People tend to find each other when the light is soft. The conductor returns, polishing the lamp glass with a cloth that smells faintly of lemon. "How are we traveling?" he asks, meaning the room as much as the rails. His tone invites truth without making demands. Elias answers with a slow breath instead of words, and the conductor nods as if he understands that language perfectly. "Shall we add a little stillness to the tea?" the narrator suggests, almost like a smile. "Just for a breath or two." Elias lets the jaw unhook, the tongue rest heavy, the eyes soften. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shoulders melt, belly loosens, fingers unthread. The train keeps time beneath it all, steady and kind. When he opens his eyes, the car seems closer, the lamps glow rounder. Even the rain outside has gentled into a fine silver mist, friendly as breath on a window. Across the aisle, the elderly gentleman wakes without the startle of waking. His hat lifts, and his smile has the warm crinkle of old linen. "Armand," he says, "keeper of pauses." He explains in that simple way of people who do real things that he spent a lifetime announcing at stations. Later, he learned that what travelers needed most wasn't the name of the place, but the space between the names. "I began to add a little silence," he says, with quiet pride, a breath in which to arrive before they arrived. He takes the small notebook from his knee and tears out a page for Elias. The page holds only a drawn square of white. "Use it when a sentence feels too heavy," Armand says. "Set it down in this." Elias tucks it into his pocket and feels absurdly as if he has been given a key. Mara closes her violin case, then opens it again, the way a hand reaches for a hand a second time. Perhaps the fourth note, she murmurs, and lifts the bow just an inch. No performance, nothing showy, just a breath of sound that folds into the train's hum so perfectly that the two become one. The air warms. Even Ria's scarf seems to glow at the edges like fog touched by lamplight. Luca sketches faster for a moment, then slows, then sets his pencil down with a soft tap. The conductor pauses at each lamp, turning them a whisper lower. Midnight has done its part, he says, wiping his hands. The small hours will carry the rest. He offers oranges from the wicker basket, man-peeled, segmented, and placed on tiny plates. The citrus opens the room with a friendly brightness, a hush of summer in the winter of night. Elias thanks him and tastes the sweet, and for a moment the world is no more complicated than juice and light. The train passes marshland, where reeds stand like kind sentinels, where shallow pools mirror the lamps like fallen moons. In their reflection, the passengers look like a single, easy constellation, each star comfortably in itself, each one bright enough to see the others. Ria reads again, but now her book is face down on her lap more often than not, as if the story outside the pages is the one she came to find. Luca has begun a new sketch, a platform with no name, a gentle bridge leading from all sides to the same quiet center. Armand dips his pen in invisible ink and writes a pause into the margin of this very moment. Elias watches the glass until the outside world gives way to his own soft reflection. He thinks of the ticket with letters that won't resolve, and realizes some words are meant to be felt first. Without deciding, he believes something simple, that dawn is not a place he must arrive. It is a light that will find him wherever he is, if he is still enough to let it in. Mara hums a last low note. The conductor dims the final lamp, a breath. The train leans into a long curve, gentle as a hand smoothing a pillow. In the window, the horizon is beginning to admit the faintest, most tentative gray, like a shy guest peeking from behind the curtain. Not yet morning, not any more midnight, only that soft in-between where newness rehearses itself. The world tips toward morning, the way a candle gives in to a soft draught, slowly, sweetly, without any rush at all. The lamps in the car are turned low, and the window holds a pale ribbon at its edge, the first shy thread of dawn. The train's hum is gentler now, a steady that smooths the air. Elias sits with his hands wrapped around the cooling cup, and the porcelain remembers the warmth for him. Mara's violin sleeps in its honey case. Ria's scarf rests like a quiet wave on her shoulder. Luca's pencil is tucked behind his ear. Armand's hat is level again, dignity unruffled. The conductor passes once more, not to check, not to tally, only to look, to make sure the room itself feels held. The narrator, your narrator, offers a last kindness before the day arrives. Let the breath be your small luggage, comes the suggestion, the only bag you need to carry across the hours. Elias sets the cup down and allows the breath to gather, not in the chest, but lower, in the belly where comfort lives. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The shoulders sink, the jaw loosens, the eyes grow heavy at the edges. The train keeps count without counting. Hush, hush, hush. Outside, the land opens into fields brushed with silver dew. A marsh lifts its thin fog like a veil. A distant copse offers the first bird song, hesitant, as if the notes are feeling the morning for temperature. The car slows. Not the breaking of arrival, more the easing of a long exhale. In the glass, Elias sees himself the way a friend would, softened and true. He thinks of the missing fourth note Mara found and understands the word it carries. Home, yes, but something else too. Begin. The conductor stands by Elias's seat and inclines his head. He offers the ticket back, and for the first time, the faint letters resolve, not inked by hand, not pressed by machine, but written by the light coming up over the fields. A single word, begin. No period. The conductor smiles, as if to say that the day is a door that swings both ways. He does not announce a station. He does not need to. The room knows. Ria reaches into her bag and withdraws the little pamphlet with the blank cover. She slides it across the table. On the first page, beneath her neat lettering, Rest first, then begin. She has added a small empty line. For your first sentence, she says, it can be a breath. It can be nothing. Nothing is an honest start. Her eyes hold harbors again, that still welcoming light. Luca flips open his sketchbook to the drawing of the dawn bridge and tears it out along a clean seam. He hands it to Elias. Build crossings where it feels like a gap, he says, voice easy, certain. Sometimes a few boards and a handrail are enough. He taps the edge of the page, then folds it once, gently, so it fits the pocket without sharp corners. Armand takes the square of white he gave earlier, the drawn paws, and places it on the table between them, as if setting down a small plate. Breakfast for the sentence, he says with a grin. Let it eat a little silence before it goes out into the day. He leans back, satisfied, and closes his eyes again, not to sleep, but to listen to the room resting. Mara does not play. She only lifts the bow an inch and shapes the air, as if sketching the outline of a lullaby too soft to be heard. The note is there, but it chooses to live as a feeling rather than a sound. Elias senses it all the same, the small landing for the heart. The car exhales. The window brightens by a breath. The train glides through a final curve and pauses at a platform so modest it could be a thought laid down gently beside another. There is no sign, only a bench and a birch trunk with pale skin, and a path that suggests itself through low grass still jeweled with dew. The door opens with a warm hush. Shh. And the new air touches cheeks and lashes with the tender chill of milk. No call to disembark, no rush. The moment is polite, patient. Elias stands, then sits, then smiles at his own small indecision. It isn't a test. There is nothing to pass. The conductor, understanding, inclines his head. On or off, both are arrivals. Ria's eyes say the same. Luca's half-smile agrees. Armand's pause holds the space perfectly. Mara's cloud coat glows at the edges. Your narrator leans closer, not in words, but in care, and offers a gentle landing. Wherever you are, the voice says, is a good place to begin, after you rest. A softer breath now. In, 2, 3, 4, and all the way out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let the eyelids grow heavier, as if someone has laid a cool leaf there. Let the forehead be smooth. Let the small muscles around the eyes relax, as a page relaxes under a quiet hand. The tongue can rest like a boat on a still harbor. The jaw unhooks, the throat widens, the breath finds its own unhurried path. A simple body scan, like turning down lamps one by one. The crown of the head dimmer, the temples dimmer, the cheeks dimmer, the back of the neck warm and loose. Shoulders drift a whisper closer to the cushion. Upper arms feel heavier, then forearms, then palms. Each finger like a quiet bird folded into its nest. The chest is easy. The belly softens. The low back spreads like warm dough. Hips settle. Legs lengthen. Calves yield. Ankles loosen. Feet grow wide and weightless. Toes unlace. Pause. The mattress beneath you, like the seat beneath Elias, remembers how to hold, and does so gladly. Or perhaps it's only the memory of it against the window, a soft hush stitched into the edges of morning. The room of the car, the room where you lie, comes to agree on the same rhythm. Hush, shh, hush. The birds outside try a line, then let it fall back into silence. Day is content to wait a little longer. Elias does not choose loudly. He does not need to. He tucks the pamphlet, the bridge, and the pause into his pocket. He holds the ticket whose word is begin. He closes his eyes and lets his body learn the new balance of light and rest. Whether he steps onto the dew-bright platform now or in an hour, dawn will meet him where he is. The conductor stands by the door like a friend waiting at the gate of a garden. Mara's bow rests. Rhea opens her book, not to read, but to keep her hands warm around it. Luca sketches nothing and is content. Armand counts the quiet. If your thoughts wander, let them walk the dawn bridge once. See the lanterns like warm pears. Hear the rails say, home, begin, home, begin. Let the breath be the fourth note. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Longer on the way out. Softer each time. The train carries you even when you don't notice. The pillow receives you. The blankets fold themselves around the shape of your good rest. The door sighs closed. Not an ending. Only a kind promise that the world can keep moving while you sleep. Elias leans back. The car is a floating room of low lamps and friendly wood, of citrus memory and tea ghosts, of small gifts folded into pockets. Morning, kind and pale, washes the window with milk blue. You do not have to follow it yet. You can let it pass gently through, like a breeze through lace. Sleep now. The train knows the way. The destination will right itself when you wake.